I'm Sebastian, and I'm with Ian Ona and Gia Aguilar, and we are here to prove a problem on angles formed by a transversal.
Okay, let's begin. The given is A is parallel to D and E, and B is parallel to C. And we need to prove that measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 8 is equal to 180. The concepts needed are the definition of transversal, definition of vertical angles, definition of same-side interior angles, definition of corresponding angles, vertical angle theorem, parallel interior angle in the same side theorem, parallel corresponding angle postulate, definition of congruent angles, and substitution. The first step is to identify that B is a transversal of A and D, and D is a transversal of B and C.
By definition of transversal, a transversal is defined as a line that intersects two or more lines at two or more points.
The next step is identifying that angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles, and angle 4 and 5 are same-side interior angles formed by the transversal B by definition of vertical angles and same-side interior angles. Also, angles 8 and 5 are corresponding angles formed by the transversal D by definition of corresponding angles.
Vertical angles are defined as two non-adjacent angles formed by two intersecting lines. Corresponding angles are two angles that occupy the same relative position at the intersection of the transversal. And same-side interior angles are two angles that are on the same side of the transversal and on the interior of the two parallel lines.
Third step is identifying that angle 1 and angle 4 are congruent angles because of vertical angle theorem. And angle 8 and angle 5 are also congruent angles because of parallel corresponding angles postulate.
Vertical angle theorem states that any pair of vertical angles are congruent, and parallel corresponding angle postulate states that when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, any pair of corresponding angles are congruent.
The next step is writing down that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 4, and the measure of angle 8 is equal to the measure of angle 5, both because of the definition of congruent angles. Also, the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 5 is equal to 180 because of pi n.
Parallel interior angles on the same side theorem states that when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, any pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary.
The last step is using substitution to end up with measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 8 is equal to 180.
We use substitution to substitute measure of angle 4 with measure of angle 1 since they are congruent, and measure of angle 5 substituted with measure of angle 8 since they are also congruent. With this, we have attained our final statement, which is measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 8 equals 180.
Thank you for listening to us today, and we hope you have learned something from us. This has been Sebastian, Ian Ona, and Gia Aguilar. Thank you very much.